We're having trouble figuring out what reality is on a Monday, November 8th. Yes, I'm the one that's having an issue with reality. That sounds pretty accurate.
It's right.
Who would have seen the irony of that one? Let's see, the Outsiders homework, if it's not done yet, we'll talk about that here in a moment. It's officially due tonight. We go to the library on Thursday. We're going to go nowhere on Friday. You don't come to school at all. It's going to be the e-learning day, so we won't get to see each other on that day at all. Tomorrow is our last read together day as far as the book goes. Gesundheit. Wednesday, we're going to do a nonfiction article about beating people up, and so it should be an interesting. Glad to see you guys are cheering on nonfiction. Thursday, we're going to be at the library pretty much the whole period. They have a lesson, and then you guys will get a chance to read and work on stuff and things like that. Let's see, from there, that covers most of the stuff. Sam?
Is the nonfiction article animated?
So from here, our Charger Challenge, this is Thursday after school, so library day on Thursday, those of you who are part of it. Again, so in this class we have Iggy and Carter and Silly. Make sure you're good to stay after school on Thursday. You'll go down to the cafeteria. We should be done by about 5:45, and then I think we should be good to go. And then no one in this class as far as the alternates goes. We should be safe as that. And when those kids have to back out, alternate step. Did we have any other questions as far as this thing went? Carter?
Did you call her Siggy?
Silly, and that's Iggy.
It was Iggy.
Two different
That's
kids.
Iggy?
That's Iggy. That's Silly.
Wait,
You're
why
Carter.
is his name Iggy?
Then we get to the homework that is going to be due. Here's the part where I'm going to have you open up iPad, and if you want to check B points or check grade or check to make sure, if you turned in the homework to make sure that I accepted the homework, no matter what, you have to submit something. Even if you got the 26 or higher, you had to submit screenshot. If you got 26 or higher and submit nothing, then it goes in as a 0, and then you have to do the questions, and it becomes a late grade and stuff like that. So it has to be done by midnight tonight. Hopefully before midnight. You should be asleep by then, but that's completely up to you. And then I get to, torture kids and stuff like that moving forward. Dylan?
So, did you get my email about it?
Don't know. That's why you'd be opening up your iPad right now and looking at it. Carter?
Is that new?
The ceiling? No, it's been here. It keeps the
No.
rain out.
The
That little
iPad
flashing thing? No, that's
motion
been there. That's the
sensor.
motion detector.
Is
Owen?
that the lights?
So, I was in the car on Friday.
Good
so,
brag.
I didn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
know when to do quiz,
Uh-huh.
so I did it, I think 3 hours after your class. So, do I still have to email you about that, or
Email me about what?
about how I did the quiz later?
This would be why you're on Canvas right now looking to see if it's graded and on there. That's why I was taking a moment to do that, so I wouldn't have to make fun of children on camera. So, aside from other kids just wanting me to harass them, we should be good. Yaysies. All right. Then, with your 7th grade assessment that this morning, my joyous Monday morning meeting that I get to spend to start the day with, we were talking and comparing you guys to the Globetrotters and Stars and how well you did in comparison. And the answer is fairly well, like I figured you guys would. On the overall quiz from last Thursday, the only one that I want to discuss with you is the last question. All the other ones you guys did pretty well on overall. The last one, which you had the picture of the fitness thing, here's how the grading of this one went. It was worth 3 points. So to give you the quick explanation, you have a fitness center, which is where you're supposed to work out. And what's going up to the fitness center?
An escalator.
What does the escalator allow you to do?
Not
Go upstairs.
There you go. So basically what I was looking for with this one is 3 things to get your 3 points. 1 point, did you give me an answer that at least made sense along some lines? As long as I could read it and it made sense, you got a point, because some kids gave me gibberish. Then you also had to say something about exercise and working out. If you just said fitness center, if I don't know what a fitness center is, and you're just like, they're using an escalator to get to a fitness center. Yeah, you just restated the picture. If you're like, be using an escalator is lazy. Good job, but what's the fitness center? So you had to say something about exercising, working out, and then you had to say something about being lazy. and you did all 3 of those, then you were good to go. So if you look at your answer and you're trying to figure out why you did not get all 3 points, look through there. Did you say something about exercising and working out? Did you say something about being lazy? Then you probably got all 3. If you missed one part of that, then you didn't get all of your points from there. Good to go on that one? That's what I was looking for. Yay, you guys. Yeah. Then, the one from Friday, your Outsiders quiz. Again, you guys did well, so we should be able to burn through this as quickly as possible, then we can get to the reading about more depth. We may get to more depth today, we'll see. Let's see, the quizzy quiz written there. If you did get lower than the 20 out of 28 and you want to retake it, you can. If you got over the 20, then you have no need to do the retaking thing. If you got the 26 or higher, then you're more than welcome to submit the picture.
Where did you go?
Let's see.
go?
Where did who go? She's out taking a test.
Oh,
Which one?
The one that we're going over right now.
Oh, okay.
That was good.
oh.
The reason she's outside the
Wait,
classroom.
so you let me check it, but which quiz did you let me, like, check my answers with and get all of them right?
Just don't worry.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you already told us.
Right, so back to here.
Oh.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, we are.
So I'll be working more of these analogies in as one of the things that we're supposed to be working on with you, the whole can you do a comparison thing. So how are the greasers and socials related to each other?
Batman and the
They're enemies. Who is Batman's enemy?
From the Joker.
So again, if you did not know, this would require you to do a little bit of reading and figuring out stuff on your own. But those of you who did know, the Joker, I tried to figure out something that was at least culturally out there that most people would have some idea about. Bowen?
You see, this didn't make much sense because you could be talking about Joker from
Wait,
Persona
hold
5,
that.
or
Exactly.
even Superman from Batman vs.
Sam?
Superman.
Exactly.
It could have been Superman because there's a movie
Oh,
called
I
Batman
apologize for calling on
versus
you.
Superman.
So
But
again,
there's
except
not
for
a movie
the
called
one
Batman versus the Joker.
movie called Batman v Superman, the rest of reality, and again, you could have put Superman and you would have gotten it wrong. And then that's why you have 2 attempts at the quiz. See, no matter what, I win. You guys are adorable.
You don't know.
2! How is it the greasers connect to the empty lot?
They're always there.
So where's Mr. Brogiak? There you go. And then, how does Bob connect to Randy?
They're best friends.
Who is Steve's best friend?
Soda pop.
There you go. Soda or soda pop, took either one from there. Let's see. Why does Johnny K's mother not see him while he's at the hospital?
He hates her and asks to never see her
Yeah,
again.
she apparently, her boy is in the hospital, and the first thing she does is show up and yell at him. Apparently, they don't really get along. So if your parents are bad, then yeah, from there. No. Number 5. After they leave the church, why does Cherry not visit Johnny?
Still upset about what Johnny did.
Good question.
She's so sad.
She's still upset about what Johnny did to Bob.
Again, apparently she does not like you stabbing her boyfriend. You know how women are nowadays. Which would be a good example of foreshadowing, considering what we know later on.
The last one.
Because what happens to the church,
It burns down.
and then it leads to my favorite scene.
Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers for a thing that's already happened. I don't think you know how spoilers work. Why does Randy decide he doesn't want to be in the big rumble?
He thinks fighting is pointless.
And he's like, hey, no matter what, my best friend died. If we get into another fight, someone else is going to die. It's sort of pointless of doing the whole fighty fight thing now. Let's see. What is it that Johnny buys that makes Ponyboy sick?
Cigarettes.
And so anything along those lines I was looking for. Cigarettes, I had a couple of different answers in there that work. What does the poem tell us about childhood?
The last
Yeah,
one.
well,
You can.
is it what?
Eventually you're going to be an adult and you're going to hate children, so enjoy childhood while you can.
What?
Why does Johnny decide to not use the hydrogen peroxide?
The first one.
Because his skin was too dark, it would not look right. And why does Cherry decide to help the greasers?
The second one.
Again, she does feel guilty about the fact that her boyfriend went all stabby. No, sorry, her boyfriend went all punchy, and then he got stabby. And as Dally talks with Johnny, what is his definition of Dally's gold? What does he love?
Johnny and his innocence.
That's the thing that brings him joy and happiness, is the fact of Johnny and his innocence. And then, let's see, what 2 characters get injured and stay long term?
Dally and Johnny.
There you go. And then our grammar, what is our conjunction?
But.
Do you guys know what the other conjunctions are?
So.
So,
Yeah.
and,
No way.
way,
Or,
or,
let's go. I'm on a roll.
You are.
Groot.
So it should be, let's see, and 4. 4 is 1, Bud is 1, Nor is 1. There's only like 5 of them to choose from. There's not very many of them out there. And then how does us get used? There you go. As a pronoun. Go you guys. Our lowest question on there?
Grammar.
Wait. It's gonna be Dally's goal. No.
It was Dally's gold. Good job, Dylan. It was lower than the grammar ones. And how many ones do you think we got perfect scores on?
Half.
So, 7?
I'm gonna guess 12.
12 of them, not a single kid got wrong.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I got you aiming high. Sam?
15.
4!
Oh.
Yes! The empty lot, example of foreshadowing, the poem, and why does Johnny not dye his hair? Those are the ones you guys got perfect scores on. And then there were another 4, one kid missed. And I did go in there and look, and it was a different kid on each question. So it wasn't like the same kid missing all of them. It was a different, like you guys rotated which kid missed each of those different questions. So technically you are close with half. 8 questions, we had 1 or fewer kids miss. The other ones, you guys did well on. So again, go you. Owen!
You see, some people got the greasers to Batman analogy correct, or incorrect actually, because they could have meant Joker from Persona 5 instead of from Batman.
Yeah, that's why they're wrong and they got it wrong. Dylan?
How many people got an A plus?
Yes. I don't know. Didn't look at it. Oh, like a total A plus on the whole thing? I don't think we had very many at all. We got a perfect 28.
I did too.
There you go. Apparently there are some people getting all happy about it. Now you can put iPads away. We're done with those things.
I got 30.
Let's go back to Stabby Town. So, after last week's exploration with the book cover, I Googled some more and found more book covers. And so, you mocking their clothing? I know. By the way, so this one is an 80s book cover. This one is a 90s book cover, which made me laugh because that's like how people dressed in the 90s. So I went back and checked when that particular cover came out. And then that was like for the 20th anniversary, so like it was right around in the 80s. That was the idea. And so again, I don't know who. I think they're just supposed to be random hoodlum guys. Like maybe this one, because I'm guessing that's going to be Dally with this blonde hair. I'm assuming the guy in the front's going to be Pony, and then that one would be, and then
This is not a match.
yeah. And on this one, I think it's just random boys that just happen to be standing next to each other. They put on the cover. So it made me smile. So then as I kept going in there and Googling, I kept having other things popping up. There were people's random drawings. And apparently there's a whole bunch of this all over the internet. People who have like fan drawings of all the different characters. So that one sort of made me smile overall. I like the artwork. And I have one more. So this one was nice, and I threw in Tim Shepard as like a little bonus thing.
See what's mad is none of them have.
Anyway, it made me smile, so I thought I'd share it with you. If you've read ahead, no spoiling of things. Interesting. Again, we have big things coming up in books, so no spoiling of things of when the aliens show up and start attacking people and things like that. Don't be that. Thanks. It's coming up in the very next page. We're going to turn to page 9. And it's like, oh my God, aliens! And they all start running around. So it's a spoiler of all of 2 minutes.
Okay.
Who has the heater?
Yeah.
What do we know about the heater?
It's unloaded.
Again, there's a reason why I'm going to keep pointing that out to you. Then we get to there's our different characters as far as what we know.
Is it actually not unloaded? And then unloaded?
And then we have the church with the church burning down. And then we have my favorite character. And then let's see hits. So when Randy at the Tasty Freeze, which do you know what a Tasty Freeze is? It's like a generic Dairy Queen. Why does Randy track down Pony Boy there? What does he want to tell him?
He's not gonna be the
Yeah, the whole idea of fighting is pointless. I'm not going to be in the whole thing. He's like, if you see me there, he's like, Now, with Randy, his issue is if he doesn't show up, what do people think he is?
A whiff.
And if he does show up, then you're dishonoring your dead best friend. So he's like, no matter what I do, I'm out of luck. If I don't go, I'm a wussy. If I do go, then my best friend died for no reason. So he's like, I don't know what to do. Big kid problems. Sam?
Why is it called a heater if when you use it on someone it makes their corpse cold?
Much like earlier, I apologize for calling
And
him
it's a
Scotty.
cold-blooded.
We covered Johnny's mom. Let's see, what does Dally want? When Two-Bit, they come to visit him in the hospital, what does Dally want from him?
His
The book.
switchblade.
His what?
His switchblade.
His pokey stick is correct.
Oh,
And so he wants to get the switchblade because, well, we're going to find out later why he wants the pokey stick. And then we already covered that one, and I think we're good. It's greasy time.
Dylan, you're out. Your door. I totally you almost put it down.
Ay, ay, ay. It's like a bunch of junior high kids in here.
No way.
Almost like that.
Chapter 9. It was almost 6:30 when I got home. The rumble was set for 7, so I was late for supper, as usual. I always come in late. I forget what time it is. Derry had cooked dinner, baked chicken, potatoes, corn. 2 chickens because all 3 of us eat like horses, especially Derry. But although I love baked chicken, I could hardly swallow any. I swallowed 5 aspirins though, and Derry and soda weren't looking. That's a lot of aspirin, by the way. Don't eat that many aspirin. That hurts your stomach. When Derry was sort of, I do that all the time because I can't sleep very well at night. Derry thinks I take just 1, but I usually take 4. And I figured 5 would keep me going through the rumble and maybe get rid of my headache. Then I hurried to take a shower and change clothes. Me, Soda, and Derry always got spruced up before a rumble. And besides, we wanted to show those socias that we weren't trashed, that we were just as good as they were. Hey, Soda, I called from the bathroom. When did you start shaving? When I was 15. When did Derry? When he was 13. Why? Are you figuring I'm growing a beard for the rumble? You're funny. We ought to send you into the Reader's Digest. I hear they pay a lot for funny things. Quick pause. Do you guys know what Reader's Digest is anymore?
It's a book. It's like a magazine.
It is. Not that one. There you go. I mean, Reader's Digest was really popular for a long time. It was like this little magazine you could get, and you could. It was a lot of it was published by people who would send stuff in. So just a random person could send in like an article that you could write, and then they would like post stuff in there, and so that became what they were known for. Yeah.
My mom gave me the blue one with the lifesaver.
That one?
No.
This one?
Yeah.
How to survive anything?
Yeah.
It was nice of her to try and get you to survive things. We still have a couple of them at our house, but they're like from 2008. They have like, will Obama win the election? It's like still on the whole front of the cover, so I just keep them because they entertain me, but yeah. That's the Reader's Digest. Soda laughed and went right on playing poker with Steve in the living room. Oh, I have a picture of this one too. There you go. That's them playing, that's an actual photograph of them playing poker. No. Yeah, I've learned, much like with Carter. Good try. Derry had on a tight black t-shirt that showed every muscle on his chest and even the flat, hard muscles of his stomach. I'd hate to be the soch who takes a crack at him, I thought, as I pulled on a clean t-shirt and a fresh pair of jeans. I wish my t-shirt was tighter. I have a pretty good build for my size, but I lost a lot of weight in Windrixville, and it just didn't fit right. It was a chilly night, and t-shirts aren't the warmest clothes in the world, but nobody ever gets cold in a rumble, and besides, jackets interfere with your swinging ability. Soda and Steve and I put on more hair oil than was necessary, but we wanted to show that we were greasers. Tonight, we can be proud of it. Greasers may not have much, but they have a rep. Well, that and long hair. What kind of world is it where all I have to be proud of is a reputation for being a hood and greasy hair? I don't want to be a hood, but even if I don't steal things and mug people and get boozed up, I'm marked lousy. Why should I be proud of it? Why should I even pretend to be proud of it? Derry never went in for the long hair. His was short and clean all the time. I sat in the armchair in the living room, waiting for the rest of the outfit to show up. But of course, tonight, The only one coming would be Two-Bit. Johnny and Dallas wouldn't show. Soda and Steve were playing cards and arguing as usual. Soda was keeping up a steady stream of wisecracks and clowning. Steve had turned up the radio so loud it almost broke my eardrums. Of course, everybody listens to it loud like that, but it wasn't just the best thing for a headache. You like fights, don't you, Soda? I asked suddenly. Yeah, sure, I like fights. How come? I don't know. He looked at me puzzled. It's action. It's a contest, like a drag race or a dance or something. Shoo, said Steve. I want to beat those Sosa's heads in. When I get in a fight, I want to stomp the other guy good. I like it too. How come you like fights, Derry? I asked, looking up at him as he stood behind me, leaning in the kitchen doorway. He gave me one of those looks that hide what he's thinking, but Soda piped up. He likes to show off his muscles. I'm going to show them off on you, little buddy, if you get any mouthier. I digested what Soda had said. It was the truth. Derry liked anything that took strength, like weightlifting or playing football or roofing houses. Even if he was proud of being smart, too. Derry never said anything about it, but I knew he liked fights. I felt out of things. I mean, I'll fight anyone, anytime, but I don't like to. I don't know if you ought to be in this rumble, Pony, Derry said slowly. Oh no, I thought in mortal fear. I've got to be in it. Right then, the most important thing in my life was helping us whip the Socias. Don't let him make me stay home now. I've got to be in it. How come? I've always come through with four, ain't I? Yeah, said Derry with a proud grin. You fight real good for a kid your size, but you were in shape before. You've lost weight. You don't look so great, kid. You're tensed up too much. Shoot, said Soda, trying to get the ace out of his shoe without Steve seeing him. We all get tensed up before a rumble. Come on, let him fight tonight. Skin never hurt anyone. No weapons, no danger. I'll be okay, I pleaded. I'll get hold of a little one, okay? Well, Johnny won't be there this time. Johnny and I sometimes ganged up on one big guy. But then Curly Shepherd won't be there either, or Daddy. We're going to need every man we can get. What happened to Shepherd? I asked, remembering Tim Shepherd's kid brother, Curly, who was a tough, cool, hard as nails Tim in miniature. He and I had once played chicken by holding our cigarette ends against each other's fingers. We'd stood there clenching our teeth and grimacing with sweat pouring down our faces and the smell of burning flesh making us sick, each refusing to holler until Tim happened to stroll by. When he saw that we were really burning holes in each other, he cracked our heads together, swearing to kill us both if we ever pulled a stunt like that again. I still have the scar on my forefinger. Curly was an average downtown hood, tough, not real bright, but I liked him. He could take anything. He's in the cooler, Steve said, kicking the ace out of Soda's shoe. In the reformatory? Again, what's the cooler? Again? I thought, and said, come on, let me fight, Derry. If it was blades or chains or something, that'd be different. Nobody ever gets really hurt in a skin rumble. Well, Derry gave in. I guess you can, but be careful. And if you get in a jam, holler, and I'll get you out. I'll be okay. How come you never worry about Soda Pop as much? I don't see you lecturing him. Man, Derry grinned and put his arm across Soda's shoulders. This is one kid, brother, I don't have to worry about. Soda punched him in the ribs affectionately. This kiddo can use his head. Soda Pop looked down at me with mock superiority, but Derry went on. You can see he uses it for one thing, to grow hair on. He ducked Soda's swing and took off to the door. Two-Bit stuck his head in the door just as Derry went flying out of it, leaping as he went off the steps. Derry turned a somersault in midair, hit the ground, and bounced up before Soda could catch him. Well, Two-Bit said cheerfully, cocking an eyebrow. I see we're in prime condition for a rumble. Everybody happy? Yeah! Screamed Soda as he too did a flying somersault off the steps. He flipped up to walk on his hands and then did a no-hands cartwheel across the yard to beat Derry's performance. The excitement was catching. Screeching like an Indian, Steve went running across the lawn, flying leaps, stopped suddenly, and flipped backward. We could all do acrobatics because Derry had taken a course at the Y and then spent a whole summer teaching us everything he'd learned on the grounds it might come in handy in a fight. Assuming you guys know what the Y is,
Yeah.
which is the...
Wow.
It did, but it also got 2-Bit and Soda jailed once. They were doing mid-air flips down the downtown sidewalk, blocking on their hands and otherwise disturbing the public and the police. Leave it to those two to pull something like that. With a happy whoop, I did a no-hands cartwheel off the porch steps, hit the ground, and rolled to my feet. 2-Bit followed me in a similar manner. I am a greaser, Soda Pop chanted. I am a JD and a hood. I blacken the name of our fair city. I beat up people. I rob gas stations. I am a menace to society. Man, do I have fun! Greaser, greaser, grease. You guys break into songs with your friends right before you get into fights, right? That's a common thing. That's when it makes it like they're not just weird. Okay. Oh, victim of environment, underprivileged, rotten, no-count hood. Juvenile delinquent, you're no good, Derry shouted. Get thee hence, white trash, 2-Bit said in a snobbish voice. I am a Soch. I am the privileged and the well-dressed. I throw beer blasts, drive fancy cars, break windows at fancy parties. What do you do for fun? I inquired in a serious, odd voice. I jump greasers! 2-Bit screamed and did a cartwheel. We settled down as we walked to the lot. 2-Bit was the only one wearing a jacket. He had a couple of cans of beer stuffed in it. He always gets high before a rumble. Before anything else, too, come to think of it. I shook my head. I'd hate to see the day when I had to get my nerve from a can. I'd tried drinking once before. Stuff tasted awful. I got sick, had a headache, and when Derry found out, he grounded me for 2 weeks. And that was the last time I'd ever drank. I'd seen too much what drinking did for you at Johnny's house. Hey, 2-Bit, I said, deciding to complete my survey. How come you like to fight? He looked at me as if I was off my nut. Shoot, man, everybody fights. If everybody jumped in the Arkansas River, old 2-Bit would be right on their heels. I had it then. Soda fought for fun, Steve for hatred, Derry for pride, and 2-Bit for conformity. Why do I fight? I thought. I couldn't think of any real good reason. There isn't any real good reason for fighting except self-defense. Listen, Soda, you a bunny boy? Derry said as we strode down the street. If the fuzz show, you two beat it out of there. The rest of us can only get jailed. You two can get sent to a boys' home. Nobody in this neighborhood is going to call the fuzz, Steve said grimly. They know what happened if they did. All the same, you two blow at the first sign of trouble. You hear me? You sure don't need an amplifier, Soda said. He stuck out his tongue at the back of Derry's head. I stifled a giggle. If you want to see something funny, it's a tough hood sticking his tongue out at his big brother. Tim Shepard and company were already waiting when we arrived at the vacant lot, along with a gang from Brumley, one of the suburbs. Tim was a lean, cat-like 18-year-old who looked like the model JD you see in movies and magazines. And again, you guys know what a JD is? There you go, which just means the kid who gets in trouble. He had the right curly black hair, smoldering dark eyes, and a long scar from temple to chin where a tramp had belted him with a broken pop bottle. Again, temple is the part of your head right here, so the scar means from there all the way down to his chin, like that. He had a tough, hard look to him, and his nose had been broken twice. Like Dowley's, his smile was grim and bitter. He was one of those who enjoyed being a hood. The rest of his bunch were the same way. The boys from Brumley, too, young hoods who would grow up to be old hoods. I'd never thought about it before, but they'd just get worse as they got older, not better. I looked at Derry. He wasn't going to be any hood when he got old. He was going to get somewhere, Living the way we do would only make him more determined to get somewhere. That's why he's better than the rest of us, I thought. He's going somewhere. I was going to be like him. I wasn't going to live in a lousy neighborhood all my life. Tim had the tense, hungry look of an alley cat. That's what he always reminded me of, an alley cat. And he was constantly restless. His boys ranged from 15 to 19. Hard-looking characters who were used to the strict discipline Tim gave out. That was the difference between his gang and ours. They had a leader and were organized. We were, just buddies who stuck together. Each man was his own leader. Maybe that's why we could whip them. Tim and the leader of the Brumley outfit moved forward to shake hands with each of us, proving that our gangs were on the same side in this fight. Although most of the gangs in those two outfits weren't exactly what I'd like to call my friends. I mean, when Tim got to me, he studied me, maybe remembering how his kid brother and I played chicken. So you and that quiet black-headed kid were the ones who killed that Soch? Yeah, I said, pretending to be proud of it. Then I thought of Cherry and Randy, and I got a sick feeling in my stomach. Yeah, good going, kid. Curly always said you were a good kid. Curly's in the reformatory for the next 6 months. Tim grinned ruefully, probably thinking of his roughneck, hard-headed brother. He got caught breaking into a liquor store? The little. He went on to call Curly every unprintable name under the sun. In Tim's way of thinking, they were terms of affection. I surveyed the scene with pride. I was the youngest one there. Even Curly, if he had been there, had turned 15, so he was older than me. I could tell Derry realized this too. Although he was proud, I also knew he was worried. Shoot, I thought. I'll fight so good this time, he won't ever worry about me again. I'll show him that someone besides Soda Pop can use his head. One of the Brumley boys waved me over. We mostly stuck with our own outfits, so I was a little leery of going over to him, but I shrugged. He asked to borrow a weed, then lit up. Hey, that big guy with y'all, you know him pretty well? I ought to. He's my brother, I said. I couldn't honestly say yes. I mean, I knew Derry as well as he knew me. Well, that isn't saying a whole lot. No kidding. I got a feeling he's going to be asked to start the fireworks around here. He a pretty good bopper? He meant rumbler. Those Brumley boys have weird vocabularies. I doubt if half of them can read a newspaper or spell much more than their names, and it comes out in their speech. You take a guy that calls a rumble bop action, and you can tell he isn't real educated. Yeah, he said, but why him? He shrugged. Why anybody else? I looked our outfits over. Most greasers don't have real tough builds or anything. They're mostly lean and kind of panther looking in a slouchy way. This is partly because they don't eat much, and partly because they're slouchy. Derry looked like he could whip anyone there. I think most of the guys were nervous because of the no weapons rule. I didn't know about the Brumley boys, but I knew Shepard's gang were used to fighting with anything they could get their hands on. Bicycle chains, blades, pop bottles, pieces of pipe, pool sticks, sometimes even heaters. Guns. I have kind of a lousy vocabulary too, even if I am educated. Our gang never went in for weapons. We're just not that rough. The only weapons we ever used were knives. Shoot, we carried them mostly just for looks. Like Two-Bit with his black-handled switch. None of us had ever really hurt anybody, or wanted to. Just Johnny. And he hadn't wanted to. Hey, Curtis! Tim yelled. I jumped. Which one? I heard Soda yell back. The big one. Come on over here. The guy from Brumley looked at me. What'd I tell you? I watched Derry going toward Tim and the leader of the Brumley boys. Man, he shouldn't be here, I thought suddenly. I shouldn't be here. Steve shouldn't be here. Soda shouldn't be here. Two-Bit shouldn't be here. We're greasers, not hoods. We don't belong with this bunch of future convicts. We could end up like them, I thought. We could. And the thought didn't help my headache. I went back to stand with Soda and Steve and Two-Bit then, because the Socs were arriving right on time. They came in 4 carloads and filed out silently. I counted 22 of them. There were 20 of us, so I figured Well, the odds were as even as we could get them. Derry always liked to take on 2 at a time anyway. They looked like they were all cut from the same piece of cloth, clean shaven with semi-beetle haircuts, wearing striped or checkered shirts with light red or tan-colored jackets or Madra ski jackets. They could just as easily have been going to the movies as to a rumble. That's why people don't ever think to blame the socials. They're always ready to jump on us. We look hoodie, and they look decent. It could be just the other way around. Half the hoods I know are pretty decent guys underneath all that grease, and from what I've heard, a lot of socials are just cold-blooded mean. But people usually go by looks. They lined up silently, facing us, and we lined up facing them. I looked for Randy, but didn't see him. I hoped he wasn't there. A guy with a Madra shirt stepped up. Alright, let's get the rules straight. Nothing but our fists, and the first to run lose, right? Tim flipped away his beer can. You savvy real good. There was an uneasy silence. Who was going to start it? Derry solved the problem. He stepped forward under the circle of light made by the street lamp. For a minute, everything looked unreal, like a scene out of a JD movie or something. Then Derry said, I'll take on anyone. He stood there, tall, broad-shouldered, his muscles taut under his t-shirt, his eyes glittering like ice. For a second, it looked like there wasn't anyone brave enough to take him on. Then there was a slight stir in the faceless mob of socias, and a husky blonde guy stepped forward. Thought I had more. You're going to need to finish chapter 9 on your own. There is a scene coming up that I don't want to read with you yet. It's better if you read it on your own. I'm going to start page 150 tomorrow. So I'm just telling you now, there's a scene coming up. I'll let you guys read it on your own. I'm going to talk about page 150 tomorrow.